Hello everybody and welcome to the final third, and today we're going to be doing our reactions to Premier League Matchweek 16. Now, what a match week it's been. The stat of the week is the highest goal scoring weekend, so unbelievable. The Premier League is just getting more exciting. We thought it'd slow down a bit, but now it's getting even more exciting, so that's great for the neutral and a lot of people. But before we get into the actual reactions itself, Al, do you want to reveal the player from the last video?
Yes, it was Micah Richards. Bursting onto the scene. Obviously now very good pundit, I'd say, very funny one, to be fair. And so it was Micah Richards.
He did do that diabolical dive though, didn't he?
Yes, definitely shouldn't go into synchronized swimming or anything like that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, actually no, he probably should. I mean, diving,
Anyway,
be great at that. Anyway. Let's go on to the first game. The first game was Chelsea versus Everton, with Chelsea winning 2-0. Now, Chelsea needed the win, and they got a probably deserved win, to be fair. Not conceding, which has been quite a problem for them defensively. Obviously, limiting Everton's chances. What did you guys think about defensively Chelsea? Because we know going forward, Chelsea have been quite good this season, but defensively, that's been the issue. What do you guys think?
I think with Chelsea, it's just like on and off with their defense. I think they're good enough to withhold certain teams maybe that haven't got as much quality. And to be fair, Everton had chances, a bit unlucky. So the defense isn't perfect, and we know that. And they definitely need some more experience still. So it doesn't matter whether they got a clean sheet this game. They clearly still do need to improve the defense. And I think Chelsea fans could tell us that anyway in the comments. They probably would say that, and they'd agree. But they clearly missed Cole Palmer. He's come back. He's got a goal. But a player that was really good this game as well was Malo Gusto. Obviously got a goal and an assist. So very vital for the game for Chelsea. Had a good performance. But again, going forward, they were very good. Created a lot of chances. And Garnacho obviously had 3 and missed all 3 of them because he's stinky. And I think the boys can tell you that. To be honest, they could have won by more, but Garnacho just couldn't finish his dinner that day. So, but no, Malo Gusto was good, to be fair to him.
Yeah, definitely the man of the match. Obviously, Cole Palmer bagging a goal as well. So he's back to form, being out with an injury for a while. But moving on to the Everton side of things, they weren't, in terms of possession, maybe you could have said it was a bit of an even game, but they didn't create many chances. And that is an issue, especially when they have a striker who isn't in form as well. So you need to create chances for a striker to get them in the game, which is I feel like that's an issue for Everton.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like losing that striker or not having a good striker for Everton has prevented them from doing well in the league. Obviously, we've seen that of other teams in the season where not having a good informed striker can really make you lose out on games. So that's exactly what we saw from this game. I do think Grealish had 2 big chances though, which he missed, but I think it was a good performance from Sanchez in terms of the saves that he made. He kept Chelsea in the game for sure, because Everton was definitely knocking on the door, and there were a few chances for them to get in the game. So you got to give credit to the goalkeeper for doing that. And also, as we said, Chelsea defensively have not been solid. Very young team, so not a lot of experience at the back. But I think this game they proved to be quite good. But I think that's not because of how good they were, but probably because Everton are not threatening up front as much as other teams in the league are. I think once Everton do get that striker, they can be more of a threat up front, but I think they just rely mainly on Grealish and Dewsbury Hall to score the goals. Ndiaye is there as well sometimes, but I feel like he's there to create chances and not really to score them. So I feel like they're lacking that goal threat up front. So I think if they do rectify that, in the January transfer window, that could definitely help them out in the season. But we'll have to see, to be honest. But I think Everton, you got to give credit to them for trying, but I think Chelsea just better off that game. And Garnacho did miss a lot of chances there as well, so it could have been easily 4-5-0. But we know how shit Garnacho is, so I'm not going to talk about him anymore.
Again, I think that's covered that game quite well. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, it's gone. Oh.
Yeah, to be fair, with Everton, I was just going to say, with Everton, they're ninth at the moment, not doing too bad, and they do have some in Grealish and in Ndiaye. A lot of teams, like I saw a lot of Arsenal fans talking about how up front they don't have that player that that pizzazz kind of player, that star player going forward. And I think with Everton, they got two players, I'd say, in that with Grealish and Ndiaye. However, like Hassan says, they just don't have that goal threatening finisher. Just to get the goals and just get on the end of certain chances. But yeah, if they can rectify that, like Hassan says, they can definitely go on and I think get Europe maybe in a couple of seasons' time if they can get a good striker. But yeah,
100%. Now the next game we'll be looking at is Liverpool versus Brighton, and Liverpool beat Brighton 2-0. It's a good, convincing win from Liverpool, and their star man this season, Ekitike, scoring 2 goals again. Now, I think, again, Liverpool, maybe not the issue being scoring goals, but defensively, they actually kept a clean sheet. Do you think now they can potentially go back and be in the top 4 race? Because I think that league's out of the question now.
I think it's a bit hard to say, really. I think you just got to see a bit more with Liverpool. You can't just go based off one game because they've been very inconsistent recently. They might get a win here and there inside the bad form that they've had, but it's not enough just to base it off this game. Like you say, the defense is the biggest issue, really, and going forward, like. We've said it multiple times, so we don't have to keep saying it, but obviously the biggest mistake we think they had was signing Isaac and not investing that money in the defence. But, it's too late for that. They got January, maybe if they can, if they have money to be able to spend, then they could definitely sign a centre-back. But, this game will definitely give them the defence a bit of confidence because they got a clean sheet, which is very good for them. And yeah, no, Ekitike is looking absolutely amazing. And I said he might have been up there for signing of the season. Obviously, I think if he had played more, he would have definitely had more goals and definitely been more clear as being possibly the signing of the season. But I think because of the fact that they've signed Isaac for such a high fee, I feel like Slot has been, feels pressured to play him. And I think it's been at the cost of Liverpool at times. And yeah, so I think, whenever Ekitike starts, it definitely shows why he's so impactful for them right now and why he's so good for them. But yeah, no, again, very good from Ekitike. They just need to improve the defence. But I think this will at least give the centre-backs and the defence in general a bit of confidence. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think Alisson made a good couple of saves in that game. So then again, defence still not perfect, so.
Yeah, that's obviously something they got to work on. But again, a clean sheet does help with the confidence, and obviously the win too, which they definitely needed. On the Brighton side of things, quite not poor, but they weren't really threatening in a sense. They had the same amount of possession. Probably in terms of the game itself, it was quite close, but they didn't really. I mean, according to the stats, they only had 1 shot on target, so they didn't really test Alisson that much. In that sense. So yeah, I don't know what to say else really.
I say it's not a great ratio, to have 14 shots in total and just 1 on target. Obviously, that's a lack of clinical, just not being clinical enough and shooting on the goal. Obviously, Alisson did make, a few good stops, but I feel that, I think Gomez missed a lot of chances as well. So he hit the post, I think, a couple of times. So, not great performance from him. He should be definitely, scoring those chances. But, at least you can see that Brighton was trying to win the game. I think in terms of the stats overall, it was a very equal game. But obviously, Liverpool just, Ekitike is a very good player and he's been very clinical for Liverpool. He hasn't really missed sitters or anything like that. So, when you have a player like that in your team, that is very crucial and can definitely help you win your games. And unfortunately, Brighton did not have that this game. I think Brighton lately have been pretty good, but I think this game not up to the same level. Obviously, I think Liverpool, I think they do have certain good games where they do play well, but we saw this, when they won against Real Madrid and I think it was Aston Villa. Yeah. They won those 2 games and we thought Liverpool were back and then they went back to the usual Liverpool this season. So, I think that is too quick to judge whether Liverpool will be back to how they were before. So I think you got to give it time. But in terms of Brighton, I think, they just got to, play as they did, for the last couple of games because they were playing really good. So I feel like if next game they start to play well, then they could definitely start to get more wins under the belt.
100%.
I think this is what we've come to expect, though. So I just want to quickly add with Brighton. I just think they like we know as them. They're the what was it like the most consistent team or something like
consistently inconsistent.
That's the one. I always get that mixed up. But you get what I'm saying. Like, that is just them personified, to be honest, every season. But I just wanted to add that, so...
Yeah, nah, you know what? You're right, and Brighton, you just don't know what you're going to get in any game, really. They could be, solid defensively but I feel like the way they play, it just opens it up, and I feel like they're a very exciting team to watch. So, yeah, they always give a good game for any team, really. Moving on to the next game, it is Burnley versus Fulham. Fulham win 3-2. Inspired by the Welsh wizard, Harry Wilson. And also, I think Burnley might feel a bit hard done by in this game. They were the better team, but they did concede 3 goals, and unfortunately, that means they lost. So, yeah, what did you guys think?
I think Leno had a great game this game. He made some really, really good saves, really important ones as well. And yeah, I think he's a really good goalkeeper, and I really do rate him. And he's, definitely saved Fulham on a good few occasions. And this game, especially, if it weren't for Leno, they could have, dropped points this game, Fulham. So yeah, like you say, Burnley will definitely feel hard done by, especially because they're at home. And as we said, their home form is where they're usually where they're usually best. And unfortunately, they've dropped, points, which again is pretty harsh for them because they did play really well. And like we say with Burnley, they are good at home. But when they drop, if they're dropping points, especially in games like this, this is the reason why they're going to get relegated. Because if they can't get over the line or get at least a point, then yeah, it's just not going to be enough for them. Because in terms of away form, they're just not good enough whatsoever. So that's definitely not going to carry them through. So it's really important for them to get these points at home. And again, like I say, Leno is probably the reason they haven't got a point here. But at the end of the day, you got to be more clinical. So it's also on them. So, yeah.
Yeah, like we said, obviously Harry Wilson was a major impact in the game. But you can also say that the goals that Burnley conceded were quite easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very simple goals. The corner was very poor. Even the Bassi goal, just a simple cross, really. And you'd expect them to do a lot better. But Fulham, fair play to them. Like we said, Harry Wilson's been fantastic. So, star man.
100%. 100%. I agree. I mean, 2 assists and 1 goal. And it was a great goal at that as well from Harry Wilson. So, yeah, what a player he is. He was quite, unfortunate to not work out at Liverpool, but I think, playing for a team like Fulham is where he should be at, a team that he could develop in and settle in really well. And, if he carries on playing really well, I mean, he could definitely get a signing at a big club. Not to say that Fulham are a small club, but obviously, big teams do need players like him. He's very creative and very, good goal scorer as well. I feel like he's got the quality to, potentially get good numbers in the league. And Bassi as well. I mean, I think some people saw the run as well he made.
Yeah,
I was going to mention.
And he just completely skied there after. I thought I was going to see Ankara Messi, but it is what it is,
I swear we get that every
It's like, do you remember Kurt Zuma against Ajax a couple years ago?
Kurt Zuma,
yeah,
Murillo,
I remember that as well.
Rudiger actually scored, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually scores as well.
Yeah.
Or assists or whatever, yeah.
But Calvin Bassey, what a run, man. What a run.
Yeah, no, you got to give credit to him for that. Yeah, and as Ali mentioned as well, Leno, he made very good starts for Fulham. Probably the main reason why they won this game. So yeah, like we've said this many times, our goalkeepers can win you games easily, and there will be a game at the end that we'll talk about that, the goalkeeper definitely did save that team. So yeah, we'll speak about that later.
Yeah, 100%. But with this game, again, another great game, high-scoring game. Again, we've got a few more games to mention that were high-scoring too. But let's move on to the next game, and it is Arsenal versus Wolves. A very narrow 2-1 win. With Wolves actually scoring all the goals, believe it or not. We talk about Arsenal being the title contenders, the title leaders, the league leaders. A not very convincing win at home, but if I'm going to give them a little bit of praise, I feel like some of the title-winning sides, especially over the last couple of years, I think City have done it before. Liverpool did it last season as well. They need to buy a bit of luck and have a bit of luck to get over the line. I mean, yeah. What do you guys think?
I just want to give a quick shout out to Wolves. Big up Wolves for scoring 3 goals. But on a real, Arsenal, look, yeah, like you say, Carlos is right, to be fair, because I have, like, the boys, they've said I'm being harsh with Arsenal because I keep bashing them, thinking they're going to bottle the league. Still do think they're going to bottle the league, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I'll say why with because of City later when we get into that game, why I think, they're going to be a massive threat. But again, we're talking about Arsenal right now. And the reason being, this game is a good example. Look, what we'll say is, it is a bad performance from Arsenal. However, if they don't, it's whether they keep this kind of performances, up in a sense. Obviously, they don't want to keep these performances up. But if their performances carry on like this, then it's definitely going to be a massive worry. And I don't think it's just me saying that. It's definitely Arsenal fans. After the game, I remember going online and just seeing a bunch of fans, whether it was Arsenal or not, kind of agreeing with the points I was kind of making. It was definitely a worrying performance. And what we got to take into consideration is Arsenal haven't, because they've bottled the league 3 seasons in a row. It just shows they don't have the mentality, and the problems they've had in some of the previous seasons is that they were doing so well, they had the lead, and then certain games kind of just brought them straight back down, and then they ended up bottling the league going from there on. Now, this could be that game, and it might not be, right? Because obviously you got City who are tailing them, very, very close, and even Villa. But like we've talked about, again, we're going to talk about Villa later as well, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But again, it's games like this where Arsenal have kind of started to crumble a bit in the league, and the pressure's really got to them. Now, again, hopefully for them, it's not this game, but with a performance like that, especially off the back of the Villa loss, you never know. You really don't. So, again, the biggest problem, in my opinion, is the, striker. Gabriel Jesus came on, and I guess you can say he done well, but it's not his goal, so meh, you know what I mean. But Gyökeres, I don't think it's his fault. I just don't think he suits the system. And we talked about United having Sesko and Gyökeres having Arsenal, and we think it should have been the other way around. It would have suited both teams better, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hindsight really saying that, Sesko would be good for Arsenal and Gyökeres being good for United. But anyway, they're both at the other club now. I feel like we got to discuss a little bit about Wolves as well. Like, I feel like they really did threaten at the end of the game, where I thought,
100%.
They got that goal. And to be fair, I'm not sure the name of the striker. How do you pronounce? I don't know how you pronounce the name. I'm sorry. I know his name. I don't know how to pronounce it though. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna try. You can try and pronounce it, but
you say his first name, Tolu Orokodare.
Yeah, that's that was a beautiful pronunciation, Hassan.
That's good, actually. I rate that. Yeah,
I'll try my best.
Anyway.
Obviously, there was it a shot and he headed it in, or was it a cross? I don't even know. It was good header from him and caught Raya flat-footed. And then they kept on pressing, and they looked like they could have got another goal, to be honest, and maybe have won the game. But
poor guys.
I think like they got very unlucky in this game. Very, very unlucky. But that's the story of Wolves' season. Either being unlucky or being terrible. So there's no luck on their side, unfortunately for them, and they are still sat rock bottom of the league on 2 points.
Yeah, it's very sad for them. I mean, I think that Wolves fans are probably going through everything right now. Probably the deep end of deep ends, So yeah, like, I just feel really bad for them. I don't know how you can watch your team every single week put up performances like these. And I think this is a game that they could have actually, threatened Arsenal and actually won the game, because I think we were sat at 1-1 and like saying, okay, they've equalised now. Can they go on to win it? Especially with the extra time that they had left, they could have definitely scored a goal. They looked very threatening last minute, but obviously, Wolves' luck strikes again and they just score an own goal. So yeah, very unfortunate for them, and yeah, it's been a story of the season, to be fair. I don't know what the saying is, but they're just causing all of the, how do I say it, like the bad luck to themselves. I don't know what the saying is, but yeah, they are. There is a phrase, but you know what I mean. Like
they're putting it on themselves.
They're bringing it to themselves. You know what I mean? So you gotta just feel bad for them at this point, and we carry on, Ali.
I was going to say, I think it's just all rooted in the ownership. I mean, when I've looked at a lot of like videos from Wolves fans and, them complaining about why they're doing so bad, it's all rooted with the ownership and the fact that their priority with the ownership now, the ownership's priority is just not with the club whatsoever. When it comes to they're prioritizing the esports team, but just is absolutely baffling. In terms of the stadium, they promised a new stadium. Instead, they gave it a paint job, which hasn't even been finished. So it's things like these. It's clear when you got an ownership like that, the club was always going to go on a downwards trajectory, because it's an owner that just has no interest in the club whatsoever in terms of the footballing side. So yeah, it's very sad to see, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not really much you can say about Wolves. It's just not going well for them at all. In games they perform well, in games they don't. Um,
Poor
yeah,
guys.
it's very sad to see, to be honest with you, because you remember the seasons a couple seasons ago where they were quite consistent and they were very threatening. And yeah, it is quite sad to see the decline.
2 points as well, by the way.
Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next game, and it is Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. Now, we're obviously discussing Arsenal, who are the league leaders, but Man City, really threatening now. 4 wins in a row in the Prem, 3-0, convincing win against Crystal Palace, who are up there in the league. Now, Ali, you were saying about City, and how Arsenal are going to bottle the league. What do you have to
hmm
say about Manchester City?
Look, they are easily the biggest threat to Arsenal, and they have been in the last like 3 seasons as well. Obviously, Liverpool won last season, but so obviously not last season, but I mean like in the seasons before as well. And this season, I think this game shows why I think they could easily win the league. They have the mentality. We know that. They won 4 seasons in a row before last season, and they just got players who have that amazing winning mentality. They obviously won the treble as well a couple of seasons ago. And when you got a player, striker like Erling Haaland, you know what I mean? There's so much like there's no limit to what they can do in terms of how far they can go. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just and now that because obviously Charles had talked about towards like the start of the season this reliance that they had on Haaland. Now goals are starting to pop up from other areas of the pitch. You got Phil Foden, you got Ryan Cherky, even to Johnny Reinders, not obviously in this game, but in a couple last game I believe he got a goal as well. And it's just popping up everywhere. These players, they're starting to really click now because we talked about it being a rebuild for Pep Guardiola. But it's like it's built really quick, you know what I'm saying? He's really turned it over quickly with them. And that's just Pep Guardiola for you. He is arguably one of the best managers in history. You know what I'm saying? So it's no surprise to me and to us that he's managed to turn it around really quick and get the team, clicking straight away. And yeah, and this again, the reason I say this game's a really good, you know, to show that they can be a good threat is because it's Crystal Palace, and this is a team that we praise highly this season because of how they've been playing. Obviously, they even beat Man City in the FA Cup last season. And yeah, no, they're just an amazing team with a really good solid defense. And the fact that they've conceded 3 at home to Man City, I think just mostly shows how much of a threat Man City are. And like I said, they got the mentality and they're chasing Arsenal, which I think definitely benefits them. I think the problem Arsenal have is genuinely being the ones that are chased. I think they would be better off chasing the league because I think it adds a level of pressure to them that I just don't think the Arsenal players can handle. And I think we are seeing it right now. Look, obviously, Arsenal still have the lead, but if they still got to go back. And a big point I made is that Arsenal dropped points in big games. They dropped points against City. They dropped points against Villa last week. They dropped points against Liverpool. They've dropped points against Chelsea, a 10-man Chelsea. They can't do anything in the big games, and that is really going to be really big this season because they still got to play all these teams again. And I think if they can't manage to, get points out of them, I think they lose the league because of that. And, they have no excuses because we have argued that they have the best squad in the league. And some of them make excuses of the fact that they didn't have Saliba and Gabriel, which is not an excuse. You have the best squad in the league, so yeah, I think City with this performance shows that they can easily win the league this season.
100%. You could probably say actually Crystal Palace didn't give City a bad game either.
No.
They forced a couple of
Yeah.
great saves from Donnarumma. Do you know what I mean? And obviously that's what Donnarumma's known for, being a great shot stopper. And that could be a bit of a difference point. And especially maybe now the way City are playing. Obviously Edison was more on the ball, getting involved in the game, but Donnarumma's way more of a shot stopper and maybe even the best shot stopper in the world at the moment. But on the Crystal Palace side of things, they threatened. They got unlucky. What do you think, Hassan?
I think they tried the first half, especially. I think they were good. Gave City a decent game first half, but I think second half is where they started dropping off. And this is what we're talking about. The big teams have much better squad depth than these mid-table teams. Obviously, Crystal Palace isn't a mid-table team. We can't really class them as that as of now because they've been really good. But I still think that they have similar issues as the teams like Brentford, for example, and Fulham, where they don't have enough squad depth to cover for these players. I think Kamada got injured this game as well, so he'll be a big loss for Crystal Palace. He's a really good player for them. So yeah, I feel like this is a game where it proves that the bigger teams have a big advantage when it comes to, just playing week in, week out. But I want to talk about Henderson as well. He commits a really bad foul on Savinho. Savinho had a great run at goal. But yeah, obviously, I think Henderson does have to kind of take him down there. Otherwise, he's scoring that goal. But either way, Haaland just puts it away. So, you can't really do much in that situation. But I think the team tried well. Adam Morton, I think he was good that game as well. Obviously we've spoken about Adam Morton, how he's going to move to a big club eventually. But, he's been a key player for Crystal Palace. And, he tried his best. He did really well in the midfield. But I think, it's not a one-man job. Playing against City, the whole team needs to play really well, especially with City being in form. So, yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace are a good side, and I did expect it to be a bit of a closer scoreline, but, it's what happens when City, punish you. And, that's what exactly happened.
Yeah, City are great, to be honest, and they're on great form. And, Al, you want to say something?
I was just going to say, Haaland's on 17 goals. He has more goals than games this season.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is mad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like we said, he is going to be up there for the Ballon d'Or, to be fair. So
yep, for sure.
Well, Shaqiri as well. He was great as well. I wanted to mention him as well.
I mean, he's only just behind Bruno Fernandes on assists. So when you have top assisters and top goal scorers, it's very, very good.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, let's move on to the next game. What do you think, guys? Shall we? Let's talk about the Forest and Tottenham game. Now, 3-0 to Forest. Tottenham had an absolute stinker. Absolutely shambolic. Almost all the goals, except for the last goal, which was a great goal by Sangare. Unbelievable strike. The other lot, you could probably say, to be fair, maybe the second Hudson-Odoi goal was a great goal, but again, you can maybe say...
I think Vicaria's got to do better.
Vicaria could do a bit better.
Yeah.
Very, very poor from Tottenham, but great game from Nottingham Forest. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I just want to say one thing with Vicario. He's a very weird keeper because he's extremely inconsistent. One game he is amazing and saves Tottenham. One game he is the reason Tottenham lose sometimes. I don't know. It's just a weird one, to be honest with that guy. Because I do think he is a good keeper. Like, I'm not trying to, downplay him and chat shit or anything. I think he is a good keeper. And I don't think Tottenham fans are going to agree with me after that game. But I do think he can be a good keeper. I just think he's very inconsistent. And with Tottenham, I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know where to begin with them. It's just really weird because I think they got a great squad. I think that they got great players in defense, so I don't know how they're still conceding so many goals. And I don't know if is it the setup, is it with Thomas Frank? I know a lot of Tottenham fans have complained about Thomas Frank and his tactics. I think he is a good manager, so I don't know. I think a lot of the fans have been complaining about the manager, so maybe it is the tactical setup. Because look, you can't be losing 3-0 to Forest. And that's no disrespect to Forest because they have been great under Sean Dyche, and you know what I mean. But 3-0, it's just embarrassing. And yeah, some of the decisions that the players were making, like Vicario passing it to Archie Gray, was just it's just awful. But I don't know, it's just a mess really at Tottenham.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that first goal, he basically threw Archie Gray under the bus, you know what I mean? He had no time to even think. 100%. I've seen loads of keepers do it before. I think De Gea did it once when we played Sevilla away. When a goalkeeper makes that type of mistake, it really does cost the team. Of course, yeah, goalkeepers make mistakes.
Young player as well, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a young player as well, Gray, so you're putting that much pressure on a 19-year-old, in that area. It's not ideal, isn't it?
It's going to ruin his
exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You said he was 19, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's very, very young, To be starting for Tottenham is great for him, but, that pressure is going to be on him because of the goalkeeper, which is very unfortunate. But to praise Nottingham Forest and how well they've done, the goals they scored, I mean, the first goal wasn't very good. Hudson-Odoi's second goal, you could say was a great goal. Whether he meant it or not, we've seen so many goals like this over the years where you don't know if it's a cross or a shot, but it was a great goal,
Yes, 100%.
To be fair, but you could say Vicario could have done a bit better on it, maybe judged it a bit better, judged the flight of the ball, and then the final goal. what a strike by Sangare. You know what I mean? Right into, I think it came off the post if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but
it did, yeah.
Unbelievable goal. Generally, they were the better team and they had more chances than just that. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, you said that Hudson-Odoi didn't mean that goal, but I think Sangare definitely meant his shot, and what a rocket that was. Like, 2 assists as well, 1 goal, and I think for Hudson-Odoi, 2 goals and 1 assist, so, great game from those 2 players, but obviously, I think the goalkeeper made a couple of important saves in the first half. So, yeah, you got to give credit to the rest of the team, but I think those 2 players were the standout players. I think they're the reason why Nottingham Forest won so convincingly against Tottenham. But I think Tottenham were just really poor. I think Tottenham. The thing is, I see the complaint about Thomas Frank, because I think Thomas Frank played very counter-attacking football at Brentford. And I don't think that suits Tottenham style, especially players like Xavi Simons, who wants to be on the ball more often. Be progressive in the build-up. So I think that Thomas Frank might not be the best appointment. Not because of him as a manager, but because of his tactics. His tactics might not suit Tottenham, or the players that they got. But I do think Tottenham do have their own problem when it comes to the attack. I think the strikers are not. I mean, the strikers at Tottenham are not that good. I think Solanke is still injured, and Richarlison is, he's not world class. So I think they definitely need to invest in a better striker. And the wingers, we said Kudus was really good at the start of the season. He's kind of fallen off right now. Yeah, he's been pretty shocking. So I'm guessing Ali's really happy that he's been performing really badly. But
guy, I'm so happy to see his downfall, and I hope.
Well, it's a bit of bad karma, That is a bit of bad karma.
I mean, I can't say anything as if we're doing any good, but like still, but
yeah, but at least you love to see it as West Ham fan,
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Yeah, but not really much to say other than Tottenham just not looking like the team they were before. I think this isn't a style that suits them. If I'm being honest, I feel like it doesn't look like the Tottenham that we know.
They're just not stable.
100%. But again, you could even say last season they weren't good either. Obviously under Ange, it's a completely different style of play. I mean, they were terrible last season, but they still won the Europa League, so they had something this season. Thanks, Man United. Yeah, do you know what it is? It's 2 different styles of play.
Yeah.
And they've played crap in both.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Can I add something to that? I think a lot of things that they've been complaining about the fans is the pragmatism that Thomas Frank brings, and how I think that kind of probably affects the stability of the team, because it's always kind of changing, and like his pragmatism doesn't help that. And I would say changing from such a different style of football and like trying to, change the way certain players play that are used to that style of football is very difficult, because yes, he's brought in some of his players that he's wanted, but considering he's still got a lot of the players from last season, it's really hard to make them go from I'm sure they weren't really happy with the football they were playing under Ange, but to go from that to such a different style of football, it can be very difficult. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the problem Nottingham Forest had, on the other hand, when they went from Nuno to Ange, because it was like opposite ends of you know what I mean? And I think they saw a big problem. And when they went back to Sean Dyche, who was much more similar to Nuno's style, you could clearly see how that suited them. So I thought I'd just add that little tactical.
Yeah, I feel like Ange's style of football is very demanding. And obviously you can see both teams recently have sacked Ange, which is mental to think about.
Yeah.
This year actually, poor guy. He's not catching a break, is he?
Yeah.
He's probably catching a tan though, which is having a good time on holiday. So yeah, collecting the bag.
He won a trophy, so you can't complain.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't take anything away from him, but yeah.
He did get a chance for the second season.
He won a trophy. He collected the bag from both clubs, and now he's chilling. So yeah, that's
She'll give him a second season. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. But let's move on to the next game. And the next game is Sunderland versus Newcastle. Finally, the derby is back in the Premier League. And the game itself was quite boring, let's be honest. But the result, the passion, and the fact that Sunderland won in their first game back against Newcastle, probably they're going to be their win of their season, to be honest, because I don't think they care about anybody else. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And also, let's just discuss the goal they scored as well. Unbelievable goal by Voltemade, you know what I mean? What a header. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't know he played for Sunderland.
No chance. Bro, it was... I can't lie. When I saw the goal, first of all, I'm thinking, what a goal. And it's like, but then I seen the score, it's like, it's for Sunderland. I'm like, what's going on?
I think we kind of brushed over the fact there was so many good own goals this season. This weekend.
Yeah, multiple own goals, yeah.
What the hell is going on this weekend, bro?
Really, we have to mention another own goal coming up as well.
Was it opposite weekend or something like that? Or are these players just thinking they're on the other side, other teams or something, bro? By the way, there was yet 9 yellow cards. I was just adding them up. 9 yellow cards that game.
I was gonna say as well. This is like the Harless prediction derby because he predicted that Sunderland would be above Newcastle. So I guess
yes, come on, let's have it.
It's gonna help him when it comes to that
clear. Let's go, lads. To be fair though,
it's massive.
To be fair
Sunderland.
Though, yeah.
I think Sunderland. I think Newcastle is weird because they got on paper a very balanced squad, but for some reason it doesn't perform as well. Like I don't really know where the problems lie. I guess the fans could probably tell us that because I think they got good attack. Maybe the wingers, you could argue, could be a bit better. I think Elanga has shown some, moments of greatness, but not enough. Anthony Gordon is good.
Can I just cut you off there, talking about Elanga?
Go for it.
I saw a Newcastle fan saying he's been absolutely dreadful this season. He had moments where he puts good crosses in.
No, that's what. Yeah.
But other than that, he's only got one assist.
He's been pretty poor.
Yeah.
Think about it. They signed him for 50 million. A player like that, you'd expect a lot more.
Yeah, I thought you'd do.
Honestly, I thought the same thing as well. But
should just try
it could just be a period of him, embedding. I mean, they've had players where they signed him before. Remember Almiron when they signed him? He did nothing, and then he became one of the best wingers in the league.
True. Where is that?
Do you know what I mean? So it could take some time.
Where is Almiron these days?
That's what I think.
No, all you have to do is just wait for. Oh, sorry. I just want to say all you have to do is Jack Greaves to make fun of you, and then you start being a good player. Because that's what happened to Almiron, if you remember. Greaves called him a.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Almiron just went on smoke after that.
Yeah.
I think on paper the only problems I see is on the wing for Newcastle, but it seems like when you actually watch them play, there's more problems, and I don't know if
I think Gordon's a good player though.
Huh?
I think Gordon's a good player though.
But again, I just don't think it's enough, right? And especially if he gets injured. If he gets injured, then Harvey Barnes, he's not bad to be fair to him, and he's been pretty decent for them this season. But again, I don't know. I just really don't know where the problems lie, and maybe
the midfield as well.
I've asked this question before in the season. Has Eddie Howe taken this team as far as he can?
You might.
Yeah, it's a good question to be fair.
Let us know.
I think midfield's too defensive as well. By the way, I think the midfield is too defensive. I don't think they have a creative midfielder.
That's something I've seen fans argue and talk about. Is that exactly? They just don't have enough creativity in the midfield, which is definitely true. It's pretty much like 3 CDMs at that point.
Yeah.
But if I can say one thing about Sunderland, I feel like you look at both of their starting 11s. It's crazy to think that they've almost sort of matched the quality. Like, obviously, Newcastle are already in the Champions League, but they've got so many good players, Sunderland, and it's worked for them. Do you know what I mean? They've had a bad run of games for a little bit, but now they've got this result, and I feel like this result will give them so much confidence. Now, let's not forget, they're level on points with Liverpool, Man United, and Crystal Palace, who are from 8th to 5th. So, literally, if Chelsea lose and Sunderland win, they could be up to 4th. Do you know what I mean? Back in the top 4 race.
But they've missed some. They're missing some players because of AFCON, which is going to be massive because there's some good players.
That's
true.
As well. That is true. So let's just see how that's going to affect them. But I don't think they can take anything away. That's a great win for them.
100%.
And thanks to Voltamada for that as well. So we will move on to the next game, and it is West Ham versus Villa. 3-2 win for Villa and another own goal. Believe it or not, it's not a surprise anymore, is there?
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Technically, you scored 3 goals, so you should have won 3-2. But
for the big boy Mavropanos as well.
Look,
big man.
Look, it's not as bad as Voltamada. Let's just put it that way. It's more like Mosquera's header. He's trying to defend it, just gets unlucky, goes.
It's unfortunate,
It's very unfortunate for him, and I'm not going to blame him. I think he has been good for us this season. Do I still think we need to improve on him? 100%. 100%. But I think he's been all right, and I don't think it's his fault, obviously. Look, I mean, the third goal is just outstanding from Morgan Rogers, and to be honest, it was a really good game from Morgan Rogers in general. Look, I'm very frustrated at the moment with us, and it's look. You could argue with Brighton's game. Yes, we did get robbed. We definitely did because the refereeing is poor at the end for that goal. It shouldn't have stood, and we should have won that game. However, we didn't take our chances that game. And even against Bournemouth, we bottled it. And yeah, I think the only one you can really be happy with is more the Man United one, because we came from behind to get the point in that game. But like, because of the position we're in, I think it makes these games a lot more, like a lot worse, if you know what I'm saying. If we were in a better position, you could argue it's not that bad, because you know what, like 2 losses in like 6 games, and like, was it like 3 draws or something like that? It's not like,
Yeah.
for the team we are, like, it's not the but again, but because of the position we're in the relegation scrap, and Leeds are getting points, good points against some good teams, it's really, really bad. It's really worrying, because we could easily get relegated if we don't start to pick up some big points. I'm not talking 1 point. We're talking we need wins, and the problem is we've got City next, so that's a write-off already, in my opinion. I don't think we'll give them a game whatsoever, unfortunately. And I don't know.
Hey, crazier things have happened. That's all I'm gonna say. Crazier things have happened.
Like, the problem with us, yeah, you could see us like we could easily, like, it wouldn't surprise me if we got the lead in the game and then just bottled it. That's the problem we're having. I don't know if it's a mentality thing of trying to get over the line. Like, obviously, Nuno, I'm not gonna blame Nuno, because he hasn't been given the squad just doesn't have enough quality. He's got nothing to bring off the bench to help win the game. It's all defensive substitutions, which you could argue maybe he could bring on some youngsters, but you can't rely on youngsters. It's not fair on him to say that. I think he needs more backing in January. I think if he gets more attacking signings in January, then I think we could see definitely a turn in West Ham's season. But the problem is if it will be too late at that point to rectify the season and to keep us in the league. I think if we can stay in the league and move on with Nuno and stay with him and get some more signings for him, then honestly, I think we can become a threat again. Not, nothing like crazy, but I think we can start to become at least mid-table again and maybe eventually push again with Nuno, because I think he's a great manager. My only issue I had with him this game was the fact that he started Paqueta and not Wilson. And this is something in the last game as well. And Paqueta, as much as I think he's a great talent, just does not offer us anything at the moment. And I think in a better squad, who need like maybe a creative player like him, could benefit from him. Maybe even a Newcastle, now that we were talking about the midfield and not having enough creativity. I think he could probably benefit them more than he could benefit us at the moment. Because the problem is more with, we need a finisher like Wilson. I mean, you saw it against Brighton. He came on and got an assist straight away and looked threatening, and we looked like more of a threat again. So yeah, and from what I heard, Paqueta was awful, because unfortunately I couldn't watch the game because I was in work. But I heard he was woeful, Paqueta, again. So, which is sad to see, because obviously he provided us with an amazing moment when we won the Conference League. I am wearing the kit we were playing in that game. So yeah, and I got his name on the back. Can't show it, but
unlucky man. Yeah, I remember when you bought that kit. We actually went to watch that Tottenham West Ham vs Tottenham game where he made his debut. Yeah, that's quite sad to see, But anyway, let's mention an attacking midfielder who is on form, Mr. Morgan Rogers. Unbelievable footballer. That second goal he scored, absolute rocket. We talked about Areola being fantastic this season. There's nothing you can do about that goal.
Yeah.
You ruined my weekend. What can you say?
He ruined my weekend.
Can you do, man? I feel like the game was kind of even though, but again, I feel like the quality of Villa just shone through. That's the reason they won.
Bro, yeah, you guys talk, because I've talked enough.
Yeah, I was going to say it's crazy that Lindelof got an assist that game as well. I think it was
more
for
goals and assists than Florian Wirtz.
Yeah, not another player added to the list. He's got a goal and assist before Wirtz, but anyways, Rogers
get an assist before Wirtz, like.
Oh yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So it's not even that hard at this point. Rogers, what a player. Great game from him. I think he's starting to show his quality again, because I think the start of the season, I think a lot of Villa fans were complaining about the fact that he wasn't playing really well. He needs to be subbed off and put on the bench. But I think he's starting to show the play that he was from last season. I think he was Aston Villa's best player last season, and he's proving to show that again. So I'm happy for him, and hopefully he continues to carry on this form, because he is a really good player, very technically good. I just think he just probably it was probably hard asked for him at the start of the season. He just saw that his team wasn't improving that much. Maybe the team mentality of Villa in general wasn't great from the start of the season, but I think they start to show form right now, be a very good side, and also be one of the teams that threatens to win the title over Arsenal. And I do hope that Villa is one of those teams that wins the league, because have they won the league before ever? I don't think they have, right?
I think Villa have won the league before.
Have they?
Have they?
Wait.
I think so.
They've won the.
I know they won the
they've won
Champions
this
League
Europe, yeah,
or the
Europe,
European Cup at the time.
me-
But I,
two seconds.
Yeah, they did. Oh no,
sure
they've
they
won a lot. They've won a lot, and the last time they've won it was in the 80s, 81.
Yeah, it was a long time ago,
Technically,
but they
Yeah.
have won the
the
league,
Premier
so.
League though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not
No,
the Premier
the Premier
League
League,
era.
no.
Yeah, so
won
it would be
the-
great. Yeah, it would be great for them, in the for the history and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, but I think Villa can definitely win the league if they carry on playing like this. But I think, as we said, a lot of teams this season, Villa's one of those teams as well where I think that they do not have the best squad depth. I think every player that starts for them in this game is a player that they need to win every game. Otherwise, they won't win the games. So yeah, I just think that because I'm looking at the bench right now, and the bench isn't really saying much, to be honest. So yeah, I mean they do have Sancho, they do have Buendia and Digne and Marlon, but those players are in and out. They don't really perform the best all the time.
Nah, Marlon's sick. Don't say that. Marlon's sick.
Marlon's sick. Buendia scored the winner against Arsenal, so they are good players.
They are good players, but I think they're also missing out a lot of midfielders. I don't think they have any quality midfielders as subs.
I think if Konsa gets injured,
Oh yeah. He's a very important player for that. I think he he wasn't great this game.
So.
I think he committed. I think it was, what mistake was it again? I think did he give away the ball or something?
Yeah, it doesn't.
I
won the game. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. Either way, they won the game. So yeah, and he's a quality defender for them.
Let's move
So
on real quick, yeah. Let's move on.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's move on to the next game. The next game is Brentford versus Leeds. 1-1 draw. And I feel like this was probably one of Brentford's worst performances at home. You could say not on really their part, but the fact that Leeds played really, really well, created loads of chances, and in the end probably deserved to win that game.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. I watched the highlights and the chances that Leeds had. I'm surprised they didn't win the game, to be honest. One thing I'd like to say is that Kelleher is a great keeper and definitely helped Brentford stay in that game and get a point in the end. And I'm really worried about, from a West Ham perspective, about Leeds, because they are looking like a decent team right now who could definitely stay in the league, which is obviously not what I want, because we're battling with them to be able to stay in the league. So yeah, it's not looking good for us in that perspective, but fair play to Leeds. They're looking pretty good. They're not too bad. Getting a point here. They beat Chelsea, and who did they get a point against in the last game?
With Liverpool.
That was it. How could I forget? Because what a game that was. And anyway, they were definitely threatening this game. And to be honest, Leeds are very unlucky not to get all 3 points in this game. Like I said, Kelleher was really good, made some important saves. And like Carlos says, as simple as Brentford is probably Brentford's worst performance, I'd argue, at home. Even though they did have chances, but just weren't clinical enough. And but neither team's really that clinical, obviously. I mean, it's only 1-1, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Brentford side of things, we talked about how good they are at home. Like you said, defensively they were good. And I mean, we can talk about the moment that Jordan Henderson scored. What a comeback in his career as well. And obviously the celebration as well. Beautiful gesture to Diogo Jota. And yeah, he's been great for Brentford. But again, they weren't that convincing today. You could say maybe they were a bit better on the ball, but they didn't create many chances. And even then, their goalkeeper actually played. Obviously, Kelleher played well. So, what do you think?
Yeah, not really much to add, to be honest. I just think that they were lacking up front. I think Thiago usually gets on the score sheet, but not this game. So yeah, I mean, it was quite unusual to say the least from Brentford side of things. I think they're a team that thrives well on the attack, but this game just not up to it. Don't know why, but yeah, I mean, who are they missing? It's not Sharda that they usually play on the left wing, because I don't think he was playing this game. He might be injured or something.
Sharda, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player for them.
Oh, he's got a red card, Fez. Yeah, he's got a red card, so yeah, that's why he couldn't play the game. But yeah, because usually he's on the left, he does really well for Brentford. So yeah, Watara is a player that they've signed from Bournemouth, and he's been playing really well for Brentford. But this game was missing, so yeah. But
I'm also surprised that Damsgaard didn't start either. He's been very good for Brentford, and I think he's a very good creative outlet for them.
I don't know, to be honest.
It's a strange one.
Yeah.
They went very defensive. If you look at the lineup, it's quite a defensive lineup to say the least. I think their midfield was very defensive.
He did come on, but he just didn't do enough, really.
Probably not the best lineup. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there's not really much more you can mention about this game. It's 1-1.
No.
Leeds probably deserved it, but I think we want to move on to the game of the weekend. What a game! And I know Man City.
What game for the neutral?
I'll tell you.
Higher scoring game, but I think this one was more exciting because you did not know what was going to happen in this game.
Absolutely not.
I feel like let's let Al talk about the game as a whole, and then maybe me and Hassan can maybe pick out the criticisms. What do you think, Al?
Yeah.
Honestly, both defenses were just non-existent for both teams because I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention the score. It was 4-4.
Yeah. Massive, crazy. It just felt like attack via attack, to be honest. Like it's just like going end from end. I think the difference between this game and the Fulham City game is the fact that it was more end to end. It was like back and forth. I think with that game, obviously, City went, 5-1 up, and then they nearly lost. And then they went 5-4, so it's a bit different, really.
Yeah, then you balled it.
It was completely end to end, and as a neutral, like they say, it was probably one of the best games to watch this season because I just genuinely, when I saw 8 minutes added on, I was completely convinced someone was winning that game, whether it was United or Bournemouth. And to be fair, towards the end, it looked like Bournemouth was going to win it, and very unlucky not to, if I'm being honest, because a couple of amazing, and I mean amazing saves from Lamens, who I think I've got to give some respect because I did question him when he was coming into the league, and you can give me, a bit of a benefit of doubt. He's a very young keeper coming into a very hard league and into one of the, hardest goalkeeping positions in world football, Man United's goalkeeper, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of pressure on that, but he's done a really good job in this game. He has helped Man United get the point, which is really good. But yeah, like I say, the attacks weren't bad. It was more just the defense is just non-existent, really. But one thing I do have to say, and probably the most controversial moment of the game, is the fact that Semenyo did not get sent off. And the biggest problem I have with that is just the inconsistency. Now, we know that Casemiro got sent off against Crystal Palace. I can't remember if it was a season or two ago.
3, I think.
Was it? Damn. I felt like it was like yesterday. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I know.
He got sent off.
Giro.
And then Semenyo doesn't get sent off for this. It's just pure inconsistency with the Premier League, which we have come to expect with these guys because I don't even know. Again, look, what really annoys me is with VAR that it is such a good concept, but the execution is beyond woeful. And it's really sad because I think if the execution was better, it would be a very good tool. But unfortunately, that's not the case in my at the end of the day. But I don't want to speak too much because I think these boys are going to have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to just go to their side now.
Yeah, just sorry, Hassan. I know you want to say as well, but let me just get this out of the way.
It's fun.
I'll just mention I feel like what happened in both halves, and then we can sort of go into depth on the players we could have criticised and whatever. But I feel like overall in the game, you could probably say a draw is a fair result. But if you're looking half to half, United were much better in the first half, and I feel like the goal they conceded was very poor from Mason Mount and Luke Shaw. I put more of the blame on Mason Mount. Semenyo with a great finish, and Lamens had no chance really on pretty much all the goals he conceded. He didn't really have a chance on them. But yeah, we should have probably been leading either 2-0 or 1-0. Obviously, the goals do change games. But yeah, that was a mistake. And in the second half, 5 goals, unbelievable. The way we bottled it, I felt like in the beginning of the first half, it was just we just parted like the Red Sea. I've said this so many times, but we just gave them chances. They ran straight through and they got easy goals, to be honest. And even for the free kick they scored as well, that was easy. And Casemiro had to sort of take the hit, and he's not going to play against Villa, so that's going to be absolutely awful.
That's crazy.
Hassan, did you think there was a player? Let's actually talk about who do you think was like our best player in the game? And probably our worst player.
It's hard to say because for me there was 2 standout players, obviously Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo. Amad, he had an incredible first half. I don't know if I was watching Messi or if I was watching Amad. Like it was ridiculous. Like that dribble past Truffer and he literally scored it as well. I think it was a great block by Smith. So fair play. But yeah, he was playing really well that first half. I think he kind of died off second half, but you can't put all the pressure on one player. I feel like the other players need to step up. And Bruno thankfully did. I think that free kick is just a peach of a free kick. Top corner, nothing any goalkeeper can do about that. We know Bruno's got his qualities and he definitely stepped up. But the rest of the players, man, they need to look in the mirror, man. The defense was horrific. Look, I feel like with Aiden Heaven. yeah, look, he's a great young talent, but I don't think he's ready to be the central centre back in the system. Obviously, we're missing out on De Ligt and Maguire, so obviously there's not really much that Amram can do about that. But I do think Yoro should probably be the central centre back just to ease off the pressure from Heaven. I feel like Heaven's not ready to be the central centre back, and he got exposed quite easily. I'll be honest. Especially with Evan Nilsson of that goal. Yeah, Heaven was nowhere near him at all. So yeah, I just feel like that's an issue. But also the midfield, I feel like it's been an issue this whole season. Really, we've said about the midfield the whole season. It's just not strong enough to compete with other teams in the league, and it's probably one of the reasons why we lost this game. I think the moment that Casemiro gets taken off, the balance in the team just goes away completely, and that's why they scored 2-3 goals. So yeah, we definitely need to invest in a midfielder this January, and if not, we're completely screwed. So but hopefully De Ligt can come back because he's been one of our best players this season, so he needs to come back. And hopefully when he comes back, we start getting results. And another thing we have to point out as well, the amount of goals we've conceded and the lack of clean sheets as well. We've only had one clean sheet this season, which is ridiculous. And we're scoring a lot of goals. Well, sorry.
So tell me about it.
Yeah. We're scoring a lot of goals. We've equaled Arsenal's tally in terms of goals, which is impressive. However, we're not stopping the goals from going in our net. So that's another problem we need to address, and it's mainly down to midfield and the defense. So yeah, once we could rectify those issues, I feel like we're a team that could definitely challenge for top 4. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy that our team is at the top of this table. Top 6 right now. I can't really complain. Like a lot of United fans are saying, as long as we're top half, we'll be okay and we'll be happy about that. And the fact that people are getting really pissed off the fact that we're not winning every game or drawing. At least we're not at the bottom half of the table. So at least there's some sort of improvement going on. However, there are a lot of problems that do need to be addressed, and the defense and the midfield especially.
Agreed. If I just add one more point, I feel like it's really strange. I feel like our players are very inconsistent. Mbeumo didn't have a good game today, if we're honest. Cunha had a great game, in my opinion. Again,
he did.
Back to back, I thought he had a great game. Great goal, great on the ball, great passing. I thought he was our most sort of dangerous attacking player in that sense. To be fair, it looked like the link up between Mbeumo and Cunha was working quite well. I feel like Cunha was finding him, and Mbeumo was linking up quite well. And obviously, we're going to miss that now because obviously both Mbeumo and Ahmad are not going to be available, obviously because of AFCON. But again, that gives chances for other players, and potentially you could push Bruno Fernandes a bit forward because again, you see how good he is producing goals and assists. And it's very frustrating to see him in the midfield because we need combative midfielders. I feel like West Ham had a massive problem at the beginning of the season.
100%.
And we have old and sort of not really good defensive players. I mean, Prime Casemiro is great, but again, he's kind of lost his legs. And Bruno is not a defensive midfielder or even a sort of box-to-box. He's an attacking midfielder, pure attacking midfielder, can cause mayhem. But when Kobbie Mainoo came on, I thought he did okay. And I don't know whether you guys seen. I actually just seen this post, right? And it's his brother, Jordan. I don't know the guy that was on Love Island.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, Jordan. Is his name Jordan Mainoo or anyway?
Whatever.
He was wearing a free Kobbie Mainoo shirt in the stadium, and it was like, yeah, proper. Do you know what I mean?
That's mental. I'm not.
So very, very controversial. Of course it's controversial. The brother of one of the players wearing it, and he was literally by the edge of the stands, and loads of people taking pictures of it.
Reminds me of the Garnacho situation as well, where his brother got involved. With a lot of stuff and kind of interfering with the team and all that. Clearly, Mainoo's showing his emotions.
Kobbie Mainoo did come on. I thought he was impactful. I thought going forward, his passing's really good. But again, positioning and defensively, that's what Amram's looking for. And I feel like he kind of lacks that. At least just yet. Maybe he can develop that. He's still very young. Let's not forget that. But will he develop that at Manchester United? Will he get more game time? I mean, he might have to start now because Casemiro's out. So
yeah.
You guys want to add anything else? I don't know. We can add much more, but I feel like we covered it quite well, to be honest.
Not really much to add, but just defensively needs to be sorted out because that, the goals we conceded this season is ridiculous. 26. We've conceded the most goals in the top half, and no team comes near that. 26 goals conceded is We've conceded 10 more goals than games played. That's it's a really bad stat from us, to be fair.
Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be conceding 4 goals at home against any team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let alone Bournemouth, which are a good team.
Because I remember Ali was talking about them, Bournemouth against West Ham, and how their finishing was terrible. I mean, their finishing looked pretty good today, I tell you what. You know, I mean, they placed the bottom corner multiple times, giving goalkeeper no chance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Well, there you go. Sometimes that's just how it is. That's sometimes just one. I actually believe this is the game of the season, only because it was so back and forth.
Yeah.
And yeah. No, honestly, let's thank the teams for giving it a good game, but obviously we're frustrated as Man United fans for, you know, not winning the game. But as a neutral, I'm sure Ali really, really enjoyed it. And of course, the neutral fans all round probably really enjoyed it. It's a great Monday Night Football game. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's the results covered. Before we go, we'll show you the leaderboard. I'm pretty sure I've had a bit of a stinker, and it's interesting what's going on now. Again, with all these results, it's kind of hard to predict. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who's gonna win by how much?
Who the hell is gonna predict that game? You know what I mean?
Exactly, that game, and a lot of the other games as well. We all predicted Liverpool to lose, and they won. So, yeah, it is kind of crazy when you think about that. So yeah, that's the leaderboard for you guys. But before we go as well, Al, you want to give us the quiz for the next player?
Of course. Let's start with the first fact. He made his Premier League debut for Manchester United away at Goodison Park in August 2012, coming on as a second half substitute. Second fact, his first Premier League goal came from close range after reacting quickest to a rebound, rather than from a shot outside the box or a set piece. Third fact, all 3 goals of his Premier League hat-trick were scored from inside the penalty area, showcasing his movement rather than physicality. Fourth fact, despite being part of Manchester United's 2012-13 title-winning side, he started fewer than half the club's league matches that season. And for the fifth and final fact, during his time in the Premier League, he wore the number 26 shirt at Manchester United. Let us know if you know who that is in the comments, and we shall reveal him in the next episode.
Thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate it. Again, leave your opinions of the games in the comments below. Let us know which game you enjoyed to watch, how your team did. And yeah, again, very entertaining weekend. And by the looks of it, it's probably just going to get even more entertaining from this point on. So we hope to see it. So thank you guys for coming in. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you get notified when we upload videos. And we will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Yep.
Take care.